your thoughts on the U.S. Open, the 123rd edition, we'll get to the winner in a second, but just your overall thoughts and pictures of what this year's U.S. Open looked like.
Yeah, of course, and thanks for having me. It was a very strange week. I mean, I think this was probably one of the most anticipated, exciting U.S. Opens in a long time because everyone was excited to see this course that was always so well thought of and, you know, highly rated, but no one had ever really seen, let alone on television. And it obviously has been, all things considered, a disappointing week. You know, I think it was you start with two guys able to shoot a 62 on Thursday, kind of got things off to a rough start. Then you add in the just kind of strange crowd vibes. And at first, I think they were getting credit for the fact that it was only 22,000 people there. But then I think as the week went on, it was just, you realize as more information comes out that the overwhelming majority of those went to members and the club to hand out, and only a smaller amount were for, you know, just normal GA people. And that's where most of the excitement comes. That's where most of the buzz is coming from. And then, you know, they didn't allow a lot of grandstands and fans around the 18th green and 9th greens because they, you know, I think they wanted the clubhouse to be the background. Well, that's where you need most of the excitement, and so it just felt empty and awkward on the biggest hole of the course. So it was a very weird week, and I think the scoring conversation is an exhausting one, but one that I'm always happy to have because I think that did end up finishing around where you wanted. I do think the final scores were pretty tough and competitive and par golf, but as an overall event, you know, you hear a lot about battling between the USGA and LACC. I just think it was a stressful, weird week, and I'm going to be really interested to see if they really follow through and have it here again in 2039.
Yeah, I saw that. They'll be back around here 2039 when hopefully the LACC is in rotation. But Brody, when it comes to the winner, Wyndham Clark, a guy who had just had one PGA Tour victory coming into the U.S. Open, and he walks away as the champion, battling toward the end and then sinking a putt to keep Rory McIlroy from getting his first major in 8-9 years. What do we know about Wyndham Clark now? Where is this taking us? Is this the PGA Tour's new star?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if I go as far as new star, but I do think he's a guy who is here to hang around. You know, he's not going to be just one of those random, you know, major winners that we get every few years, and you're just like, remember that? I think he's going to be around. He's going to win more tournaments. I don't know if he's going to become a star, but he's fascinating because 3 years ago, he was not even in the top 200 golfers in the world. I mean, he was a really big amateur prospect and dealt with the loss of his mother and dealt with some struggles there. Came up, got his PGA Tour card, and I mean, just flat out was not good. I mean, it was like he missed 7 cuts in a row at one point, and he was not even in the mix. And he made some changes in the last 2 years, and it's kind of quiet, right? I don't expect everyone to know his name, but he has quietly been one of the better golfers in the world the last, 12 months probably. And he won the Wells Fargo, which was an elevated event. That's against the best guys in the world. He's been, raking in top 10s and top 20s at pretty big tournaments. And it's like, I'm not saying he's some star, but he is, in the FedEx Cup rankings and things like that. Like, he was a top 10, top 15 guy this season. So it's not like this came out of nowhere. I don't know if he's going to be, some great guy for the next 10 years, but people should get to know him because the year he's having right now with these 2 massive wins, he's probably going to be playing on the Ryder Cup this fall. Like, that feels very, very likely at this point, probably assumed. And he's a fascinating guy because he has dealt with all those things. He has dealt with loss and struggle and just kind of, he said he was ready to quit golf multiple times, just kind of hopping in the car, driving, not knowing where to go. And I think that's what makes this such a cool story, is that as much as I think golf, we all want stars to win the big events, it's kind of cool to have a guy who, just went out and earned it when other guys couldn't.
That's a great point there. Speaking with Brody Miller, golf and college football writer for The Athletic. You mentioned it there. We're all about the stars, right? And I had a chance to be at LACC, and, you're watching the Schefflers tee off. You're watching, obviously Rickie Fowler and Rory McIlroy and some of the greats. Who do you think was more of a disappointment this week? Was it Rory not getting that next major, or Rickie Fowler, who's playing in Southern California near a lot of his hometown fans, and both guys just come up a little bit short?
Yeah, right, because Rory is that's the answer, because Rory, I mean, people have just, it's so bizarre that what he is doing in majors year in, year out the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years is out of this world. I mean, he is playing like in majors, honestly, like the best golfer in the world. The fact that he's getting top 5s and top 10s this steadily in the biggest events, it's like, that's the most impressive thing. You know how good he is, and he is so beloved, and everything that's gone on with LIV the last 2 years and the role he's taken in the game and how good he is at talking and being around people. Everyone wanted him to win this. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, the golf world, golf writers wanted him to win this. And I think it is just so disappointing that, and what makes it so strange is it's not like he's going out and choking. St. Andrews last year, right? Yeah. He didn't choke at St. Andrews. He just couldn't quite hit that like big birdie putt he needed to, and then Cam Smith took it from him. Mm-hmm. And that is kind of what happened today too. He played well. I mean, other than maybe that 14th hole where he put that ball in the bunker and missed that putt, I think that was the one, obviously, that he let get away from him. But other than that, he hit fairways constantly. He drove the ball out of his mind. He put the ball on greens consistently, and he just could never make that like 15, 20-foot putt, that 10-foot putt for birdie. He just couldn't make any of them. And again, that's what's, I think, it's not that he's losing it. It's that he's lacking that ability to just go grab it, to go take it. I know it's not that simple, but sometimes Wyndham Clark just went out and grabbed it and took it. I think that's what people are hoping for out of Rory McIlroy. And with Ricky, it is disappointing just because how much, and you were there, right? Like that crowd wanted Rickie Fowler. Like,
absolutely.
That crowd was in love with him. They were chanting Ricky and other vulgar chants too. They loved him, and I think it's disappointing. It's tough though, because not only anyone expected him to win this, right? The fact that he's having this bounce back year and playing as well as he has all season long, really, that's enough of a big story for Rickie Fowler, I think, to have his game back. It is a bummer that the crowd didn't get a kind of embrace him, but I think Rory is who people will be talking about for the next, few weeks.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.